Jeffrey keeps avid track of his NoFap streak. He gets just a couple of days in and then he resets it back to 0. Now that he's back on 0, he faps 3 more times. Adonis isn't even aware that NoFap is a thing. He just has sex and doesn't fap like a monkey because he's not lonely. He expends that energy instead by doing challenging things like making a business or lifting weights. What happens after you reset a 1-year NoFap streak? Nothing. Nothing happens. Literally nothing happens. The streak is not the important part of NoFap. And the streak is entirely toxic. Here is a little screenshot of the MyFitnessPal app that I use. 300-day streak. Pretty good progress for 300 days. I have logged my weight and I have tracked my macros. Made some good progress, right? 300-day streak. What if today I did not track my calories and the streak reset it to 0? Would I wake up tomorrow? Would I instantly have gained all the fat back? Use some common sense. Literally, this is what people seem to think NoFap is like. That you'll lose this streak and suddenly you've gained it all back. Would I gain 10 pounds back tomorrow if I missed my streak today? Obviously not. You do not lose much progress when you reset a streak. I want you to, instead of think of a streak, think about how many days you've done it. I've tracked my calories for 300 days. If on the 301st day I didn't track it, well, over 301 days I've tracked my calories for 300. That's fantastic. If you've gotten to day 25 of NoFap and you reset your streak, people think, okay, I've reset my streak, so that means I've reset my progress. Oh, back to being depressed because I was levitating before and all the girls were holding. Shut up, bro. So over 26 days, you fapped once. That's an accomplishment you should be so proud of. That's an accomplishment that you should feel so grateful for. What's this negativity that the NoFap community and the subreddit and the dumbass little NoFap YouTubers have put onto you about, oh, day 87 and I've got superpowers. I reset my streak and it was just, I could just tell because all the girls weren't holding eye contact with me anymore. It was never the streak. It was all just about the fact that you're not fapping like a little monkey, like an addict is anymore. It's just how many times have you done it over the last month? If the number's quite low, then fantastic. If the number's high, well then reduce it. But if you aim to bring the number to 0 and to keep it to 0 for the rest of your life, you're going to fail this goal. Of course, just lose your ego, lose your pride a little bit and just think to yourself, am I literally going to fap 0 times for the rest of my life? Don't be a dumbass and say, oh yes, I could. Don't, okay? Of course you are. Literally, there is a 0% chance that's going to happen to you. There is a 100% chance that you're going to fap again in the future. If you're setting something like a streak, what you're doing is setting a goal that you know you're going to fail. And the longer the goal, the more progress you make, the worse the failure, the bigger the hurt feeling is. Streaks are entirely toxic. And seriously, nothing really happens when you reset your streak. It's very, very overblown. The NoFap is very much like a culty, weirdly like placebo benefity type of vibe. As someone who's probably more, like, this is my ego talking, but someone who's probably like very, very successful in NoFap, and like I'm not on NoFap, I'm just a guy who doesn't jack off, and I'm maybe, for example, it's been once in the last 11 months. Once in the last 11 months, and that happened about 5-ish, 6 months in, right? Nothing happened. Nothing happens immediately after. You don't lose your confidence. You don't lose your like testosterone or whatever. You probably lose a little bit of testosterone, prolactin and stuff. But if you're doing it like this, if you're actually going a couple of days each time, NoFap, you're not going to experience much negatives. The negatives comes from the guys who are jacking off 3 times per day. They're going to experience it. The negatives comes for the guys who are watching porn. They're going to experience it. You're actually experiencing worse symptoms. You're making your life worse by setting the streak. And I speak to people, and like good long-term clients of mine still aim for the streak, and it's like I can't convince them otherwise because of how toxic and how influential the NoFap community is in telling you that, oh, here's my 30-day streak, here's my 70-day streak. Guess what? When you see that stuff of this guy's 300th day streak, You're like a little bitch on Instagram. You're like a little 16-year-old insecure girl on Instagram, and she's like purposely looking at Instagram models and comparing herself towards them. That's what you're like. That's what NoFap does to you. NoFap is like social media. It's like social comparisons. You're literally just looking at people doing better than you, and you're like, oh, gosh, bro, if only I got to day 17 and then I would have been meditating like this guy. Many, many guys have come to me in a worse position because of NoFap. Because of NoFap, they are in a worse position. NoFap is toxic and it is not long term, because if you're on NoFap, somewhat there's still like masturbation and porn use in your mind. I'm not on NoFap. I'm just a guy who doesn't jack off. Jacking off, fapping is not in my life. If you identify with NoFap, if you come to me and you say, oh, I'm on a 27-day NoFap streak, I know you're going to fail. You're of course going to fail, because it's still part of your identity. You're still a guy who's on NoFap, and guys on NoFap eventually fail. Guys who just don't masturbate This is like saying, no, I'm not going to accept that drink because I'm quitting. If you say that, you're going to fail, and quite frankly, you'll stay as an alcoholic because you're quitting. When someone passes you the drink, oh, no thanks, I don't drink, I don't fap. That's the mindset you need. Nothing happens after you reset your streak, boys. Fucking have some respect for yourselves. Go and do the hard work, especially if you don't feel like it.